Have you ever heard the saying, if you're looking for trouble, you'll get trouble? Well, that's right. A lot of people have found themselves in deep shit with firearms. Some knew how they got there, but others didn't. Welcome back to Finely Tuned Firearms, and today we'll be again exploring something different, like every new day, but today the spotlight is on inviting trouble. Sorry, I mean avoiding trouble. Do you want to know the fastest way to get the ATF on your door? Relax. I know you're curious, but we've got plenty of time, so we might as well get into it. Now, if you live in America, chances are that you know the ATF, and they are no joke. If you do not live in America, the chances of you knowing this organization may be very low, so let me give you the lowdown. The ATF is a law enforcement agency in the United States Department of Justice that protects the U.S. communities from violent criminals, criminal organizations, the illegal use and trafficking of firearms, the illegal use and storage of explosive, acts of arson and bombings, acts of terrorism, and the illegal diversion of alcohol and tobacco products. Now, if that sounds like a big bad wolf that can get easily angered, well, you're right. Trust me, you would not want to be dealing with these guys at all, because they are not just a law enforcement agency in the U.S. Department of Justice, they are also responsible for regulating firearm commerce in the United States. The Bureau issues federal firearms licenses, or FFLs, to sellers and conducts firearm licensee inspections. They are also involved in programs aimed at reducing gun violence in the United States by targeting and arresting violent offenders who unlawfully possess firearms. The ATF was involved with the Youth Crime Gun Interdiction Initiative, which expanded the tracing of firearms recovered by law enforcement, and the ongoing Comprehensive Crime Gun Tracing Initiative. ATF also provides support to state and local investigators through the National Integrated Ballistics Information Network, or NIBIN. To curb the illegal use of firearms and enforce federal firearm laws, the ATF issues firearm dealers licenses and conducts firearms licensee qualifications and compliance inspections. In addition to aiding the enforcement of federal requirements for gun purchases, compliance inspections of existing licensees focus on assisting law enforcement to identify and apprehend criminals who illegally purchase firearms. The inspections also help improve the likelihood that criminal gun traces will be successful because inspectors educate licensees in proper record keeping and business practices. Compliance inspections target licensees likely to divert firearms from legitimate trade to criminal use and dealers with poor compliance history. Investigative priorities focus on armed violent offenders and career criminals, violent gang members, and domestic and international arms traffickers. The ATF also works with federal, state, and local law enforcement to target, investigate, and recommend prosecution of armed career criminals and narcotics traffickers to reduce the level of violent crime and to enhance public safety. Now that you've got the gist, first on the list of the fastest ways to get the ATF to your door is the illegal possession of firearms. This is a criminal activity, and once you are on the ATF's radar, you should prep the guest room. And if you don't know what the illegal possession of firearms is, it is simply having a firearm that you don't own a license for. This illegal firearm possession generally falls into one of several categories. One is simple possession. This is the strictest of standards. Some weapons are prohibited from any form of private ownership at all, even if kept in one's dwellings under secure conditions, such as a safe. Typically, this covers military devices such as bombs, artillery, machine guns, nuclear devices, and chemical weapons. However, this may also include possession of otherwise legal weapons by a person who is prohibited by law or court order from possessing them. Reasons include prior criminal convictions, conditions of probation or parole, and court-documented mental illness. The next one is the carry of a concealed weapon. This is a restriction or ban on carrying of certain weapons on a person in such a manner that is hidden from view of others. This can sometimes include somewhere in the same vehicle or close to one's immediate surroundings where the weapon is easily reachable. The third category of possession is carry in plain sight. Now, this is the opposite of concealed carry. Some jurisdictions make it a crime to carry certain weapons in plain view of others. Reasons may be to prevent intimidation or menacing, to create a friendlier-looking population by removing visual symbols of violence, or to intimidate or control a segment of the population known for the carrying of certain weapons. Second on the list is weapons modifications. This is considered a felony. There are various ways to unwittingly shorten rifles or shotguns in a manner that makes them illegal. The most obvious way is to saw down the barrel. You might also shorten the stock. This is a seemingly innocuous modification that could shorten the firearm a few inches, and that is enough to make the gun illegal. In states like Florida, short-barreled rifles and shotguns are illegal. If you purchase a rifle or shotgun and then shorten it somehow, you could suddenly find yourself in possession of a prohibited firearm. For rifles, the minimum barrel length is 16 inches. However, barrel length isn't the only thing to consider. Modifying your firearm so that its total length is less than 26 inches also counts as a short-barreled rifle. The ATF can also come knocking if you are caught with a short-barreled shotgun, also known as a sawed-off shotgun. The minimum barrel length in this case is even lower, and your shotgun barrel must be at least 18 inches. Like rifles, shotguns are also illegal if they are altered to have a length shorter than 26 inches. Also, changing the length of a firearm's barrel can convert it into another weapon category, potentially requiring additional permits. For instance, converting semi-automatic to fully automatic, transforming a semi-automatic gun into a fully automatic one without proper authorization is strictly prohibited and can lead to severe penalties. Installing suppressors and silencer components without following the appropriate legal process can result in federal charges. Each modification has specific legal requirements and potential penalties for non-compliance. It's essential to understand these requirements to ensure that any modifications made to your firearms are legal and compliant with federal regulations. The third way that the ATF will show up on your door is possessing unregistered firearms. The essence of firearm registration is twofold. One is for ensuring responsible use, and the other is for enabling accountability. The legal consequences of possessing an unregistered firearm are severe and varied. They can range from fines to imprisonment, which is often contingent upon the specifics of the offense. Certain scenarios can even elevate the charge to a felony with significant implications for your future and freedom. In case you don't understand, an unregistered firearm is essentially a weapon absent from official records. This starkly contrasts registered firearms, which have meticulously documented details lodged within governmental databases, allowing authorities to track ownership and history. Firearm registration typically includes the firearm's make, model, serial number, and owner's personal details. Owners must meet certain legal requirements to register a firearm. These requirements vary by jurisdiction, but generally involve background checks and ensuring the gun meets safety standards. Registration also ties into the broader tapestry of regulations, such as the National Firearms Act, which is a federal law regarding firearm registration and ownership in the United States. Failing to register a firearm doesn't just result in a slap on the wrist. It is a serious criminal offense that can lead to severe consequences, including fines, legal charges, and potentially imprisonment. Fourth on the list of requirements for ATF to turn up uninvited to your tea party is firearm trafficking. Today, we see criminals increasingly use ghost guns. And what is a ghost gun, you may ask? Well, a ghost gun is a gun cobbled together from trafficked weapons components to facilitate violent crimes. They don't have a serial number or any other markings, making them very difficult to trace, like a ghost. Advances in firearm 3D printing technology allow people to manufacture ghost guns on a larger scale, which makes the weapons more difficult to trace. The internet has made it easier for people to download instructions on building and assembling weapons, which they can keep to commit crimes or sell for profit, mostly on the dark web marketplaces. Number 5 on the list is the misuse of weapons. Misuse offenses typically include all cases in which firearms are used by or readily available for use by an offender to facilitate the commission of an offense. Misuse of firearms includes offenses such as murder, attempted murder, robbery, sexual assault with a firearm, hostage taking, extortion, and you get the idea. Number 6 is illegal manufacturing. Illicit manufacturing comprises offenses including manufacturing firearms without marking, manufacturing from trafficked parts and components, and manufacturing without legal permit or authorization. Now, if you dabble in any of these areas, the ATF should be at your front porch in a few minutes. A high-profile example of the ATF's activities is their investigation of David Koresh and his cult, the Branch Davidians, in Waco, Texas in 1992. The ATF investigated the Branch Davidians' illegal production of machine guns and assault rifles, and a 2.5-hour-long gunfight ensued when ATF agents attempted to raid Koresh's compound. 4 ATF agents lost their lives in the fight, but they seized the compound after a 51-day standoff when cult members set the compound on fire. Next up is straw purchasing. While gun trafficking is the movement of guns from the legal to the illegal market, often resulting in their use in crime, straw purchasing, on the other hand, is the act of purchasing a firearm on behalf of another person, sometimes for a specific person, and other times to illegally resell the gun for a profit, often to individuals legally prohibited from purchasing a gun themselves. Even if the intended user relying on a straw purchaser is not a prohibited possessor, they are nevertheless seeking to evade record-keeping requirements that make it easier for law enforcement to solve gun crimes, and the ATF hates this very much. Number 9 is firearm transportation violations. If you move firearms across a state or national border without obtaining proper permits, you're going to attract the ATF like moths to flames. This is one of the most common firearm transportation violations. Federal law mandates that firearms transported across state lines must be accompanied by the appropriate licenses, typically issued by the ATF. Failing to provide these documents can lead to serious charges, including fines, imprisonment, and the losing your right to possess firearms. Another frequent violation involves crossing state lines with weapons that are prohibited under federal law. Certain firearms, such as automatic weapons and those with modified features, are restricted by federal statutes. Transporting these weapons across state boundaries, even unintentionally, can lead to severe repercussions. Federal law is explicit about the types of firearms that are deemed illegal to transport interstate. You must familiarize yourself with these restrictions to avoid inadvertently violating the law and bringing the ATF into your life. The penalties for such violations are often severe, including significant fines and lengthy prison sentences. Other ways include improper firearm storage, fraudulent use of licenses, neglecting record-keeping for dealers, and failure to pay taxes on certain items such as automatic firearms or suppressors. If you have your hands dirty in any of these categories, chances are you are already on the ATF's radar. Otherwise, congratulations! You just put them on the fastest track to get to you. And that's it. We've come to the end of the video. The ATF are good folks. There's no need to be scared as long as you don't put them on the next flight to your location with your own doing. Now, if you enjoyed this video, more exciting, informative ones are coming your way soon, and I know you don't want to miss out, so hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated. Until then, stay calm and stay safe. We'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.